We're going to take a walk down memory lane as a late diagnosed AuDHDer and twice exceptional. I'm going to give you a little glimpse into my childhood, specifically looking at achievements, how they were perceived on the outside versus how I was feeling on the inside. And none of this is to brag or toot my own horn. The point is to show you that what somebody is presenting like on the outside can be completely different than how they're feeling on the inside. I talked a lot in my last video about how I was a perfectionist, high achiever, people pleaser, super high masking. So I'm going to give you a glimpse into some realities of being twice exceptional and a late diagnosed AuDHDer. I won 3 or more district-wide art competitions. Now, mind you, every last one of them, I completely forgot that they were happening until bedtime the night before, so then I spent like half the night rushing through just to get it done. I just feel like I'm constantly behind and playing catch up. It's like in most areas of my life. I've always had really intense emotions, and so even though I could make friends with anybody, I had a hard time connecting with people on a deeper level. The way that I experienced the world was pretty different, among other reasons too, of course. I would also get overwhelmed with how often I had to kind of keep up with people, if that makes sense. Like how often you had to talk to people, hang out. Demands of being at school from 7 to 3 Monday through Friday took everything out of me. I also didn't have a good experience with therapists growing up. Pretty much every year, about once a year from 8th grade till like 10th or 11th, I would reach out to a therapist, usually somebody school-based that they had around. And I wouldn't usually make it past the intake or just like a session or two in because I presented as very high masking. I was bubbly, friendly, outgoing. I mirrored people. I thought that's what you were supposed to do. And then when it would come time for the therapist to ask, like, are you anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, upset, all of that, I'd be like, yeah, and go into it. And they either wouldn't believe me or they would minimize me or dismiss me or just not take it seriously because that's not how I was presenting. And I remember thinking, like, how are you supposed to help me if you can't even pick up on this stuff? Again, this was 20 years ago. We didn't know what we didn't know. I just knew that that wasn't helpful, and so I want to do better as a therapist. My first couple weeks of ever playing soccer, awarded most improved player. Realistically, it's probably because I hate being a beginner at anything. I get painfully self-conscious. It drives me crazy, and I want to master things as quickly as possible. So here in 8th grade, I was captain of the girls' soccer team. The next year, I got recruited for the boys' soccer team. I loved it. I stuck with them 9th through 12th grade. I'm pretty sure this was the only thing that helped me cope during high school. I won my elementary school's marathon every year from 4th to 6th grade. Then during middle school and high school, I had anger outbursts, what everyone thought were tantrums, but now we know they're meltdowns. I was able to hold it together at school, and then when I got home, it just all came out. If I wasn't first chair for band, I felt like a failure. I think the lowest I ever got was 3rd chair. So then at that point, I got cold feet, kind of panicked, picked up a 2nd instrument to overcompensate, because nobody else was playing multiple instruments. So I did that, got moved ahead a grade in band, picked up a 3rd instrument, and during that time, I was also incredibly impulsive and reckless and self-destructive in other ways. Always the people, I would get that feedback, but then also makes careless mistakes, forgets things, loses things, is disorganized. Straight A's, most of the time. If I'm not the best, I feel like a failure. At least I feel like I'm not good enough. Not like my parents ever put pressure on me to get good grades. They just kind of wanted me to go the route that made me happiest, whether it was going off to college, doing a trade, going right into work. Here we have 6th grade Olympics. District-wide, I placed 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in all my events. From 7th to 9th grade, I did track, was always in the first heat, was all over the place with my events. They just stuck me everywhere. Every time I placed, went to invitationals, but at the same time also had a horribly unhealthy relationship with food, my self-esteem, exercise. I graduated high school a semester early. They threatened to not let me walk because I wouldn't go to graduation practice because I didn't want to take off work. I was one of the first to walk, so I didn't want to be done within like a minute and then have to sit there for 3 hours, 2 days in a row. So then I went off to college, had meltdowns pretty much every single day because I never got any alone time. Loved my roommates, but we all shared a room, community bathroom. I'm a germaphobe, so that sent me sailing. Then from 19 to 21, I completely burnt my life to the ground, made a lot of bad decisions, had to do a lot of cleaning up. And then I decided I wanted to be a therapist because I didn't want other people to struggle the way I did. I felt like I learned everything the hard way and that I could speak to so many different situations.